And we are live. Coming to you live from the great state of Wisconsin is the Overdue Sports Team. I am your host, Will Massa. To my right, Jake Sawinski with a brand new computer. How are we doing, buddy?
Oh, it's about time. It's not exactly brand new, but it's brand new to me, and it works. It could be horrible, and it would be better than the previous one. But might have to bury that one in like Lake Mendota or something. But
we can get a Viking funeral, put it on a little sailboat, and burn it.
Yeah, exactly. But good riddance. I love that computer when it worked. I mean, it was all reliable for a long time, but this one is sick. I like this computer. I have Touch ID. The screen, like, it works. It doesn't take me 10 minutes to log into anything. It's really good. So
it's a brand new man.
Mm-hmm.
We're here at episode 4 of Call to the Pen, and we're mixing up the format a little bit. So we're gonna kick off with some news, some call-up stuff. Obviously, the biggest news in baseball: Paul Skeens making his debut last week. He's got 2 starts under his belt, both against the Cubs. First time out. We were texting about this when he was throwing. Like, the control wasn't 100% there, and he gave up 3 runs, but kind of bullpen's fault. Nico Horner got one out on him, and then he faced him again the following week. No hits, 11 Ks, 6 innings, just carved him up. And I know that the lineup that he faced the second time was very different from the first time, but he's starting to put it together, and he is nasty.
Yeah, when we were texting back and forth, it wasn't like, oh, he's not ready, right? Like, his stuff was incredible that first start, too. It just seemed like the control was a little bit not there 100%. And that could have just been like, hey, you're making your first start, I'm a little nervous, or, just the anticipation. Like, there's no way Paul Skeens, like, wakes up and doesn't realize the entire baseball world is ready to watch him play at the big league level. So it's a little bit of that. I mean, I was thinking it's like, hey, if this continues, maybe the control stuff needs to be figured out. But it seemed like start number 2, there were no issues. So he's the real deal. One thing I do want to say, though, before we transition, because I don't know how much you want to talk about it, you tweeted something about this being the most anticipated debut, like more so than Steven Strasburg, and some guy was giving you grief in the comments.
No chance.
I agree with that guy. Like,
I don't disagree. It was like, you got to see it from my perspective. Like, I was 12 when Strasburg debuted, so I was like immersed in the baseball world, but like social media didn't exist. So like, to me, it seems a lot more hyped. But I'm sure if you were like a little bit older or like a little bit more immersed, there probably was more for Strasburg. Like, I watched, I remember the 20 strikeout game. Like, I remember his debut, but to me, it was like, I was also a lot more into college baseball as I've gotten older. And so I've been watching him at LSU. We've been waiting for him to get called up. But yeah, to me, it's close though. Like, everybody and their mother is talking about it. If you don't know baseball, like, you heard that guy was pitching.
Yeah. I mean, I am a couple of years older than you, and I related to that guy a little more because Strasburg, they were talking about him for like weeks before. It wasn't like, oh, he got called up, we're ready. Like, that one was really anticipated. Like,
yeah,
like, before then, it was probably like a Max Scherzer or a Justin Verlander type, or even going back further, like Mark Pryor for the Cubs was supposed to be the real deal. And like, that never panned out because the guy was always hurt, but when he was pitching, it was really good. But rare comment W. Honestly, like, I agree with that guy. Most of the time, the comments we get are a little ignorant. Like, I got a kick out of the Gunnar Henderson one, and the other guy just like sends a screen grab. It's like, these hitters are better. It's like, didn't mean literally.
Yeah. But also, none of those guys are leading the league in home runs. Like, none of the guys he sent on that list.
But like, I don't even know if Rafi Devers is on that list, and Rafi Devers is the hottest hitter in baseball right now. Like,
yeah, I would say him and Judge.
Yeah, I mean, Judge turned it around, but like, Devers has 6 games in a row with the home runs, the franchise record, and I think his average is up like 100 points. So
yeah, he's ripping the ball right now.
Those would be the only 2 I'd give you flack with, but like, he quoted like some OPS stat. It's like, dude, the kid's like 22 and he's got 16 home runs. Like he's hitting
Yeah.
more home runs at the big league level than I've hit my entire life playing the entire way through. It's like, come on. But and that was funny. I said bust your balls a little bit about that.
I like that. Quick call up. Kyle Manzardo made his debut for the Guardians. He's not doing a whole lot, slashing 177, 222, 265, which is actually better than when I first pulled these. So I know he's playing just because of injury stuff, so I anticipate him getting sent back down. Zach Geloff is back from injury. I'm a huge Zach Geloff fan, but he is not having a good year so far. 188, 254, 313, just 3 bombs. He's been on the shelf for a couple of weeks, but the A's can use another bat, so hopefully he can get hot.
Yeah. Has anybody on the A's really had a good season, minus Mason Miller? Like, I mean, I feel like there's guys that are playing well, but not like absurdly well. Like
they were, Brent Rooker was playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Those are my big call-ups. The big story the last week or so has been Ronel Blanco got caught cheating. The umpire said it was the stickiest stuff he's ever felt since they've been doing the checks. And they never came out with what he had on it. And I don't know if that's like going to be public information. I know they send it off to like the MLB sends it off for testing to see what it is. But I got some head scratching now because that's a guy that all season has confused me because he's never been good in the majors. And then all of a sudden, like, sure, he threw the no-hitter, but then every start after that was also really, really good. It's like, this guy isn't good.
No, my question is, though, like, they get checked regularly. Like, did he just get sloppy and hiding it one day? Like, I mean, you remember, who was it, like, 10 years ago? The Yankees guy.
Severino. Severino got caught with it on his neck.
Yeah, it wasn't him. Like, that might have happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying that's not the guy who I was thinking about. It's the big guy on the Yankees. Not Sabathia. There was, like, a big guy in between them. Because Luis Severino is, like...
He's pretty old. I think you're thinking of him. I think I know... And they kind of touch him, and they're like...
I don't think, let me Google it. Keep talking. But I don't think it was him.
Yeah, I was not super... Well, they said that they checked him in the first inning, and there was nothing. And then he got ejected in the third inning. So, obviously, the first check, he passed, or they didn't check his glove. They checked his hands after the first inning. And then they checked his glove in the third, and they took the glove and threw him out. So he had to have just gotten sloppy with it. I can't imagine that he just decided all of a sudden to use it.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. It's Michael Pineda.
No, you're right.
That's who I was
thinking of. I think that's who I was envisioning, and I thought it was Severino.
Yeah, like I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a
that's the one. He touches his neck and throws him out.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. It's like, I mean, was it something like super obvious? You said he checked his glove, so maybe not. But
it was on his glove, and they said it was like ridiculous. I don't know what he had. They, like I said, like they didn't come out with public information. I don't know if that will be public information, but it makes you wonder. Makes you wonder if he's been doing it all year. I have to imagine he's been doing it all year, right? Like you don't just
you don't just suddenly start. You know,
yeah, I wouldn't think that, like, obviously weather conditions dictate how much you would use, so maybe that had something to do with it, but I have to imagine that he's been using it all season. Like, he doesn't, like, you don't just revitalize your career like that. Like, he was really a nobody, and, like, he was proving that it wasn't an accidental no-hitter, but I think there was something to it, so that's my take on it.
But, I mean, it happened. I mean, they didn't catch it, so it's like...
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to think any different of him. He's still bad players throw no hitters all the time, like Dallas.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Well, yeah, but usually you would think he would have reverted back to his normal self over the course of a month and a half, and he didn't. He was turning in like quality starts every single time out, and his underlying numbers were really good, and his regular numbers were really good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely strange, but I mean, if that's the worst problem the Astros have, which it's not, like that's a great season, but they are turning it around. Like
they are.
look like a baseball team again. Yeah, we're probably
we'll get into them. We're gonna go across the map here. Handful of teams from each, not each division, but each location. A couple from each division. We're gonna start with the East, the Phillies, best team in baseball right now. I see a lot of people knocking. I don't want to say like complaining, but like knocking them on their strength of schedule because they've only played 3 teams that are over 500. Strength of schedule doesn't matter in baseball. You play every single. They're 1-2 against teams over 500. They've only played
Yeah,
3 games against
they're
teams over 500.
they're just gonna have a gauntlet in August and
But
September. Like they're all
yeah,
gonna be out.
but also it's a testament to how good they actually are because they're winning every single game that they're supposed to win. Like baseball is the most parodied sport ever. You play 162 games and they're taking care of business against all the really bad teams.
Yeah,
So
it's like
I give them credit.
yeah, like what else do you really want them to do? Like fit
Exactly.
into their schedule? Like I mean, like if you're talking about another sport, I guess it's kind of different because, like, okay, for the in NFL, you don't play every team, right?
Yeah.
It just kind of shakes out that way. College is kind of where they
College it
pick,
matters. Yeah.
yeah, because like you pick to a point, like you schedule out of conference games, you play everyone in your conference, but I mean, Big Ten and SEC especially, like you might only play a weak side of the conference, right? Like the Big Ten East in football is loaded, but the West is kind of ass. SEC is you can't say they're both ass, but like you have stronger sides on each side. Like Georgia's in the East, Alabama's in the West, and then like some years the East is a little better than the West. You know what I mean? So college is different, but like pro baseball, I don't really think that's a legitimate argument. And I
No, I
mean,
don't think
like
so either.
compare it back to what they used to do, where you'd play like 70 games in the division. Like
Yeah, now even
it's
less so. Like
totally
you can't
different. You
even
play everybody.
yeah, you can't even make the division argument anymore. Not that the NL East is bad outside of the Nats, but like it's
I
still
mean,
you
they're not even like garbage. You know,
yeah,
they're not good, but
exactly.
they're not like a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah. But they've
Right?
been
I
handling
mean,
business. And
yeah,
breakout guy for, I don't even want to say breakout because he's I always call him a win merchant because every year he's got like a 4 ERA but has 12 wins. It's Ranger Suarez, but he is like Cy Young numbers right now. Like
yeah. I don't get it. I don't get
he
it.
I don't know, and he's always a bullpen guy in the postseason, so he's gonna rack up like 14, 15 wins in the regular season, and then they're gonna push him into the bullpen in the postseason,
Hmm.
and he's gonna do Ranger Suarez things.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's an anomaly, right? Because we've been saying this for how long now? Like it's been 2 months almost for the season, and that's kind of been the narrative since day one. Oh, what is Ranger Suarez doing? Like this guy actually stinks. How is he pitching well? It's like, well, he's still doing it. You know, it's like he's kind of shutting everybody up by pitching well, and I feel like I've fallen for it multiple times. It's like let's fade him because he's not that good,
You
but it turns
you always
out
hate you hate the other guy too, Christopher Sanchez,
um
but
that
even
one
he
you
turns in
can.
like well yeah, but you just yeah
Yeah, I just find myself like fading him. Like that's not intentional, the Christopher Sanchez one, because like last year I bet him a lot because he was like that pen guy converted into starter, and like he was pretty good last year. Like I backed him often, so
yeah they
like
both were
I don't know. It's like I get what you're saying. Like everybody's trying to find a reason to like knock Philly, but like they're good. Like they
they're
just are. The lineup's awesome. I mean, you're get Alec Boehm's having a breakout season. Harper and Schwarber and
Schwarber's
Realmuto.
actually hitting for average this year. He's hitting above 200, which is a step in the right direction for
Yeah,
him.
he's hitting his weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Sorry, I'm like trying to log a better too real quick. I didn't realize how late it was already. But yeah, it's like everyone seems to want to knock these guys, and it's like maybe they're just good. Like our like record might say it right now, but do I really think they're the best team in baseball? No, probably not. But like that's what they are right now. Like on paper,
Yeah.
they're the best team in baseball, and like leave it at that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see the purpose of arguing lexicon about who's actually the best team in baseball when all the teams involved are pretty damn good.
That's true. Moving over to the Mets. The Mets are doing Mets things. They're 5-10 over the last 15. They got swept by the Rays in that span, and they are
That was
trending
bad.
down. They are bad. That they're looking bad again. They've been the coldest and hottest team in the MLB at different points in the season. I believe they're the coldest team right now, and they went on that stretch where I think they rattled off like 9 of 10
Yeah, it
at
was
one.
early though. That was like week 3
Yeah,
and 4. They were really good.
because it was right after we talked about them being ass, and then they were
Mm-hmm.
really good, and I was like, oh shit. And now they're doing it again, and nothing they've got going looks very good. Um, I kind
Brandon
of think
Nimmo,
that's
I would say, is like the one bright spot they have. Like that guy hits a good leadoff with pop for whatever reason. He reminds me of one of our teammates who played center field too, except he's a left-handed hitter. He reminds me a lot of Brian. But
yeah.
I mean, P. Alonso's gone, right? They gotta ship him out.
He's not really doing much. There's all the news about his contract that they offered him the massive deal and he just said no and wanted to walk away from it, which I don't believe. Like I don't believe that story at all, but he I mean he's 30 this year and his numbers
He's
are
that old? I didn't know
yeah.
he was that old.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
mean,
right?
yeah,
That's like the
entertain
thing.
that though. Entertain that though. Like, would you be shocked if he did say like, "No, I don't want that money. I want to go sign somewhere else"?
I would be because what he's asking for, basically what he's asking for is what Freddie Freeman and what Matt Olson make. So do you think that anybody values him above either of those two or at the same level? I think the answer is no.
God no. I mean,
He
he
hit
plays
220
what
last year.
a below average to average first base, and
I mean, he hits 40 bombs, but he's going to hit 230. He hit
yeah,
225 last year, 230.
I mean, if you put him on a capable team with those offensive numbers, it looks way different. It's like a close resemblance to Kyle Schwarber, right? Because like he's getting the RBI value there. I mean, how many solo home runs is he hitting? Because like the rest of the team is practically useless. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just don't think anyone's going to pay him that. I don't think anyone is going to give him a Matt Olson,
Probably,
Freddie Freeman contract.
probably not.
And I don't think he just shot down what they offered him because the contract that was released was like I think it was 7 years, 158 million. So coming in at like 20 million a year, which is like just under Freeman and Olson. And you're telling
Mm-hmm.
me and for him to just say no to that, I think makes no sense. I think
No,
that's a
I
fair
won't.
number. That's like a relatively fair number for him. I don't believe that he just said no and that he's walking into free agency.
No, or his agent's an idiot. One of the two.
Well, it is Scott Boras.
Yeah, makes sense.
Moving over to the American League, Orioles. Corbin Burns looks like the Cy Young that they went and got, and Gunnar Henderson, like we mentioned earlier, might just be one of the best hitters on the planet right now. The dude is like, I think he's 22. Is he 20 or 22? I think you're right.
It's young. Best power hitter on the planet, anyways. I mean,
Insane.
he's hitting like 270, I think, but you don't have to hit
15
300
bombs.
on that team.
Yeah,
16, he had 16 last
16.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
yeah.
you're on
He
that
is.
team, you're okay.
He's tearing it up. They got Kyle Bradish back, who is like sneaky good. I
Mm-hmm.
would say like he's a very solid number two, and I feel like he just gets like no rep, but he is very solid. Um, they're good. I don't. It's them and the Yankees in the AL East. I think it's going to be like that all season, back and forth.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, we kind of say the same thing every time, but like this is the one team we managed to not much. They just keep winning.
Yeah.
You know, they just keep.
I the Red Sox are like the most surprising but unsurprising 500 team in the MLB. Preseason, I put them at 500, and I believe as of today they're a game under 500 or a game over. They're one of the two, and it's like incredible that they've done it because the offense has been so bad and banged up, and the pitching has been so good, and now it's kind of like rebalancing the other way where like, the pitching isn't as good. Like Brian
But
Bellows been worse, and
with
they
the
can't
pitching
win behind Crawford. And but you were mentioning like Devers is red hot right now, and I don't know. They're like they should be 500, but the way that they're 500 to me is
mm-hmm.
so I just can't get a
Yeah,
feel for it.
it's very like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like when they look good, they look awesome, but when they look bad, they look horrible. It's like complete polar opposite. It's very strange. But I mean, they are where they are. Like a month ago, they could have been 15 games under 500. Like they couldn't hit. Like losing 2-0, 3-0 games, or the pitching gets bad and they manage to score a couple runs, like a 7-3, 8-3 game. But yeah, I mean, they're good enough to be in contention right now. I mean, you just got to see how the summers, how they start in the summer. But the season's not over for them. Like they could be right in the mix come August if they keep trending this direction. I guess you could say.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like not contending, but to be better than anticipated.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of thought they were going to be the laggards in that division, along with maybe I mean, I think even the Blue Jays had some expectations, and the Rays definitely did. So, I mean, I think
thought that.
most people
Yeah.
would pick them to be last. But
Yeah, 100%. Moving over to the Central, the Pirates are starting to pirate, just what they
yeah,
do in May.
well, unless it's against the Cubs.
Unless it's against the Cubs. Yeah. And luckily they have walked away with, I think they won both those series. They're 8-9 in May, but the series have been ugly. I think they're going to keep trending that way, as much as I hate to say it, because I think the rotation is like really fun. Obviously, Skeens is there. Jared Jones is like nobody's talking about him, but he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Even Mitch Keller is just pumping out quality starts. It's just like they're just not winning games. The bullpen is awful. Their bullpen is
Yeah, that's the real issue. Like
really bad.
the middle of their order and the bullpen.
It's really
Like
bad.
the top of that order is okay. Like McCutcheon, you're not gonna get a ton out of, but like it's an okay lead off, I guess. Brian Reynolds isn't having a good season either. Connor Joe is probably like their most consistent hitter right now.
And he's like he should be like a role player, but he's having to be like
But like he's good. Like Jack Sawinski strikes out every other at bat. He's starting to hit a few more home runs, though, which is cool.
so is O'Neal Cruz. O'Neal Cruz also strikes out 35% of the time, but he's starting to hit the ball a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah, but that's like no surprise. Like that's Ellie De La Cruz, right? It's the same thing. Like everyone just you live with the strikeouts. Like that, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It just comes with it. But like the bottom of that order is stinky.
Yeah.
Jared Triolo and Rowdy Tellez.
And Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah. No thanks. They suck. But yeah, like we said this was gonna happen. But like we're not geniuses either for saying it. Like it happens. We just all get caught up in the Pirates might be back.
Speaking of Ellie De La Cruz, he's on pace for 200 strikeouts and 100 stolen bases. The Reds are under 500, looking like a very confusing team. This is actually a team that I was kind of right about. I thought people were too high on them this year. I thought they were still another year or so away. They've got some good pitching. Like Nick Lodolo and Andrew Abbott are awesome when they're good, but they're really, really bad when they're bad. That's kind of like their whole pitching staff. Hunter Green is the same way. Like Hunter Green is leading the league in expected batting average against, but he still will come out there and give up 6 runs a game. And like they're so back and forth.
He throws he's a fastball guy.
Yeah.
Big league hitters can hit fastballs. Like if you don't have off speed shit, you ain't shit. Like it's just the name of the game. You got to be able to throw off speed stuff. Breaking anything. Like you cannot go out. Shota Imanaga is the only guy who goes out there and throws fastballs only and makes it work. He's insane. Rookie of the year. Fuck it.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Skeens might get it, but Shota's got more innings.
He's gonna. I think he's gonna end. And I know if you scratch out Yamamoto's first start in Korea against the Padres, their numbers are really close. But I think Imanaga is going to have a better year at the end when it's all said and done. And Yamamoto's been really, really good, but I don't understand his fastball just like breaks my brain.
He
throws it 92.
So deceptive. It's like a heavy but slow fastball. You know what I mean? When I say heavy, it's just like it looks like it's coming.
It just gets on you.
Yeah. But I mean, he works a cutter off of it, slider off of it. It's just like, and it's not overpowering either. Like, it just shows like you don't have to throw 103 to have a place in baseball.
It's
Like
wild.
if you do all the little things right.
He's so impressive. I faded him once this year, and I was getting like audibly frustrated because he's blowing 91. He like literally blowing the doors off of major league hitters with 92. And I'm sitting
Mm-hmm.
there like, what are you doing? And then I just never again. His stuff is insane. He's so impressive every time I watch him. He's he's a really fun watch.
Yeah, he's the one
Um
bright spot in Chicago right now, and he loves Chicago. That gets me so
yeah.
fired up. I got to snag a show to Jersey.
Guardians 31 and 17. They
Don't
appear to
get it.
be unstoppable right now.
I don't get it.
They're
They're finally
ridiculous,
hitting. They're
and
hitting.
they're doing it with, and I don't want to call it a bad start, but for Jose Ramirez standards, it's a bad start. He's hitting 253, a 300 on base, and a 474 slug. He's got 11 bombs, 2 this week, and 41 RBIs. So he was off to
Well,
even like a slower start, and he's put. To me, the one concerning thing, if you look at his historical numbers, is the on base. Like he's usually like a 360 on base guy, and for him to be getting on base at a 30% clip is
to me, it seems like what he's doing better this year is what like they needed him to do last year, and like not necessarily to any fault of his own. Like didn't happen. Like he didn't have those slug numbers. He didn't have the runs batted in. And this year it kind of seemed to flip, which is good for the team, right? Because like they get on base enough, and his at bats are always productive. It seems like he never strikes out.
he doesn't.
And yeah, and like he has pop. I don't know, like if it's because they're not playing at Progressive Field as much early on, or if it's like he's actually hitting for power better. But I mean, what did he have home runs last year? Like 25,
I
27,
think he
I
was in
want
the
to say.
I think he was in the
Did,
30s.
did he get to the 30s? Well, I know like he was an anomaly last year because like they said like if he played at any other park, he would have had like 10 more home runs just because that stadium's huge
Yeah,
or it plays
he
huge.
had he had 24 last year, 29 and 22, and 36 in 2021. So yeah, he had 24 last year.
Yeah, and he's basically halfway there, and it's 2 months in.
Yeah, a
Or
month and a half
22.
in. Yeah,
Yeah, like I mean, I think that team will trade 50 points of on base to have him do that. Because that's been their
yeah,
problem, right? Like they just don't score a ton of runs. But on the flip side, like they lost Bieber right away, and the pitching. I mean, Tristan McKenzie's probably their ace, or supposed to be, right? And he hasn't been very good. Logan Allen.
it's a lot of young guys that are still coming through. Like Tanner Bybee is in his second year. Gavin Williams is in his second year
Yeah,
ish. Like it's
they're
all
stepping up.
super young
They're
guys.
stepping up. Yeah, they're stepping up enough. But like when those bats cool off, they might struggle because like
And
their
then Carlos
pitching has.
Carrasco, they're still rolling him out, but he's on the I. He just hit the IL today, so he didn't
Good
make
for
his
them.
start.
Yeah, but they look really good. They find ways to win. It's like that Tito energy, even though he's not there anymore. Like they just find ways to win, and it's good because like the pitching they'll figure it out. Like
Yeah,
I feel like they're just chalk them to win the AL Central. Well, the Twins might give them a run, but I mean it's those two like usual.
yeah. AL Central Tigers. I think I was wrong about them. As
You were
much as it pains me, I was
well.
so
It's
high on
like that.
them.
Like you know how everybody was on the Reds last year, and then like they were kind of surprising. Like the Tigers were this year's Reds on like baseball Twitter, and baseball Twitter is
Yeah,
very smart. I shouldn't say that. There are some people on baseball Twitter who are very smart, but most of them aren't. It's just not. I'm
myself
sorry.
included. Myself included.
Like. Well, I'm not saying you're dumb, but like you bought the hype, but like everyone
Oh, I
does.
did.
It's like, well, sure they have pitching, but like they can't hit. Like that was evident right away. Like they can't hit. Oh, they scored 12 runs in a game, but yeah, they're good for the week. Like they
Well,
score 0, 0, 2, and 3 the rest of the week.
the big issue right now is the bullpen. The bullpen
Oh
is,
yeah, and that
which
was
is
like,
insane.
but
That was
that
like the
like
thing.
yeah, like I made that comment about baseball Twitter, but like to their credit, like you wouldn't expect that drastic of a change by keeping most of your bullpen intact. Like that bullpen was awesome all last year. Like they were like a top 10 bullpen at the worst all season. And then this year, it's like the back end is still awesome. Like I think we talked about this last episode. Like the back end is still really good. It's just they can't get there. If
Yeah.
Scooble doesn't go 7, like they're fucked. You throw Will Vest out there or Andrew Chafin out there, and it's like all of a sudden you were up 3, now you're down 6. It's like you have to get to that. You have to have a perfect outing from your starter. And then like they're bipolar on offense. Like if they might score 8 runs in a game, but like I said, they're done for the rest of the week because all they do is hit extra base hits. They strike out a shit ton. If they don't slug, they're scoring 2 runs maybe.
Yeah.
And like I'm using hyperbole here for the most part. Like if you were to look at every game, it's probably 3 or 4. But it seems like they score in spurts. And like if you're betting on it, like just fade them the next day. If they have an explosion like that, and chalk them up for 2. Like seriously.
Yeah.
But sorry, baseball Twitter. That was a little mean, but I was all over that one. I wasn't falling for that crap.
That is true. You were on that one. I'll give you that one. I was 100% bought in, especially with like Scooble being 100%. I was like, Torque's gonna break out.
He's the only. Torque finally looks better.
We're gonna get to him. He'll get better. He's been a lot better.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better. Scooble's awesome. Like, but everybody knew he was awesome, and like no one was wrong about him. The guys just made class.
Yeah. Moving to the West, the A's are turning into the A's of old. They were 17-18 or 17-19, and now they're 19-30. They're 5-13 in the month of May. They're playing the Rockies this week, so hopefully they can walk out with a series win against the Rockies, who were red hot and then are stinking it up again. They're being the Rockies again. I said this in the preseason episode because I have a future on them for over 57.5 wins. This team isn't going to be, it's like relative. You know what I mean? Like they're good, but it's relative because they're good compared to what they were last year. And we've mentioned this before, like they play a competitive brand of baseball this year that's actually like palatable. Like you can watch the A's play and not be like sick to my stomach watching it.
They were the White Sox last year.
Yes, where it's like not even fun. I mean, I don't know at what point last year they hit 19 wins or 20 wins last year, but I can't imagine it was
June. It had to be like mid-June.
So it's a much better, like this team is not going to be a 70-win team. You know, I think they're going to be 60-62. That's what I think they're going to be, assuming that they don't just sell everybody off at the deadline, but that also could happen. But
they're still the A's. You're not going to sell out the whole team.
Yeah, I like the farm system. Like they've got some fun young guys. Mason Miller is the best closer in baseball right now. Notice how I said right now because it's not in general, because there's still guys like Emmanuel Clase out there and Ryan Helsley, but he is fucking awesome. I love Mason Miller.
Yeah, he's good. That's about it, though. Like, I mean, this team's just been disappointing from their April, but still exceeding expectations. That makes sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what, yeah. They're still the A's. At the end of the day, they're still the A's.
Yeah.
The Astros, on the other hand, have completely righted the ship. The last time we recorded one of these, we said if they don't get hot like now, it might be sell time. They might have to punt. And that sure shit that week turned the whole ship around. Kyle Tucker is one of the best hitters on planet Earth right now.
MVP candidate.
He is freaking awesome. Even with Ronel Blanco getting caught for cheating, they're still managing to win baseball games. And
no, I mean that's one guy, but their starters have been really bad. Like
they have been.
Did you see Framber Valdez yesterday?
None of them have been good.
Well,
Christian Javier hasn't really been good yet.
No, it was just really funny because I got a haircut yesterday, and like in the lobby, like they had MLB Network on, and it said like Framber Valdez's last 5 starts against the A's has averaged 12 Ks. It's like, okay, don't bet on the Astros tonight. He had he gave up a 7 spot. They're hitting though. Like that's.
They are. They're mashing. Alex Bregman is starting to come around again. He looks like at least competent at the plate as opposed to looking like me up there. They're putting it together. And they've got guys like Like John Singleton just hits nukes, and it infuriates me
Those
because
dorks.
he was like, dude, he was out of baseball for like 4 years until last year, and now he's like a role guy for them, and it just makes no sense to me.
Well, it's weird he's playing every day.
He plays a lot, yeah. Well, because Jose Abreu is they, he's
Wait, what
probably gonna
happened
get
to him?
DFA. Jose Abreu.
Oh, he's that bad. Okay.
They sent him down to single A. I think they may
That
have
sucks.
DFA'd him.
That guy's like a Hall of Very good player. That sucks. He's old though.
Yeah, I don't know where he is right now. Where is he?
That sucks. But yeah, he was useless. Like, which is a shame because like he was.
Oh, he's joining the Astros again this weekend.
Okay.
So
he was Mr. White Sox for a long time. That's sad, but
he was.
yeah, he's sick.
He also was an MVP the COVID year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Was he the MVP? He was the AL MVP 2020.
So.
Yeah. Which asterisks, but still, nonetheless.
I mean, baseball. It's still doing the same thing.
Yeah. The D-backs, 22 and 26 right now. That's another team that I think a lot of people were super high on because of the run last year. But if you looked at their win total, I think their win total was 83.5 or 84.5. Like, I thought that was a tad too high, even with what they did last year. And it hurts to say Corbin Carroll is probably the most disappointing player in baseball this year to this point. You can argue Julio Rodriguez or Ronald Acuna, but I think he's getting more grace because it's sophomore slump kind of thing, whereas like Acuna and J-Rod are established players.
Well, I mean, I've never been very high on J-Rod. Sorry.
Well, he's never really put it together. I mean, it's one of those guys where it's like, if he puts it together, he's going to be MVP. Yeah. And you're like, well, yes, but he never has.
Sure. Like, I could see the argument with Acuna, but I've never been like, oh, J-Rod's so good.
Yeah.
Like, he's fast. He plays good outfield, but he strikes out like 175 times a year.
Yeah. The one bright spot for Arizona, Ketel Marte. I think he's
like ageless. He keeps getting better.
Yeah. Hitting 292, 341, 519 with 9 bombs, 25 RBI. And then they still have guys like Christian Walker. Like Christian Walker was coming off a career year last year, but he just pumps the ball. Like he's a very good hitter.
Hard contact every time. Yeah. Even like Jock Peterson's kind of pulling his weight a little bit, you know.
He's still serviceable. I mean, he's a splits guy. Like you don't let him hit against lefties, but he does what he does. Like that.
Yeah,
he's been like that.
You're seeing a righty most of the time anyways.
Yeah.
But I feel like their bullpen's been pretty disappointing.
Yes, like, definitely.
I was gonna say this team reminds me a lot of the Red Sox, but not as severe. You know what I mean? Like the Red Sox are like full blown bipolar.
Yeah.
These guys are like mild.
A little bit more, yeah.
I don't know if that's offensive or not. If it is, I'm sorry, but yeah, you.
I mean, the record tells you it is. I mean, they've got pretty much the same record. So
yeah, but I mean, it's like
invalid.
less severe. It's like less severe.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they've gotten. I bet the D-backs last Friday they got smoked by the Tigers. That was really bad. But I don't know. Like
the pitching in general has just been kind of like mid. Like Merrill Kelly and Zach Allen have both been like decent, but last year it was like they were both all world. It was one of like it was like a Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola kind of 1-2 where you're like, all right, well, you got to face those two. And now it's like it might be Brandon Pfaadt might be the best guy in the rotation as of today. I haven't looked at the numbers, but
I think Gallen's definitely the best arm they have, but I always thought
100%.
I always thought of Merrill Kelly as like a lower ceiling type of pitcher. Like I never.
Yeah.
He's not like a true ace, I don't think. Like he'd be an ace on a really bad team, but like he's not like garbage or anything.
He's a good number 2.
Yeah, but like his ceiling's pretty low. I mean, he throws low to mid.
He's just not a big strikeout guy. Like he relies on soft contact. So that just it comes with the territory. Yeah.
He's not gonna get it as much anymore. Like guys.
Yeah. Moving to some players that are both hot and cold. We talked about Spencer Torkelson a little bit better, but he is coming around. He's got a 722 OPS in May, 3 bombs, and all of those are in the last like week and a half. The Tigers need it. They need it really bad for them to even compete offensively. Like he just has to be better, and he has been,
Somebody does, yeah.
Which is good to see because like I'm a big Spencer Torkelson guy, and it's like he makes these baby steps. Like his first real big issue was the whiff, and he cut that down. And then it's like, okay, now he's going to do it. And he didn't really do it. And now it's the same thing. Like it's not really striking out a whole lot, but he doesn't really hit anything hard. And now it's starting to come. So hopefully he builds on it. Kyle Tucker, like we mentioned, 15 bombs, 1 shy now of the lead with Gunnar Henderson. Too early to say, but he's so good. But
he's a great right field too. Yeah. He's insane.
Brenton Doyle for the Rockies, been pretty much their best hitter all year. I talked about in preseason that he needs to kind of get going, but he has been really solid for them. He's got 5 bombs already. He had 10 last year for reference. He also, I don't think he hit above 210 last year. He's hitting 273. So he's getting on base, he's stealing bases, and he plays probably the best defensive center field in the league.
Yeah, if not, he's up there for sure.
Yeah. Another Cubs guy, Hayden Wesneski, needs a little bit more love. He's got a 1.91 ERA, a 1.02 whip. He's got 23 Ks and 6 walks. Not a big strikeout guy, but damn, is he been efficient. I mean, he's a 5-and-dive guy.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Craig's kind of got him in that spot starter / long relief role, which I think's good for him. But like, you have a problem with Kyle Hendricks, and I think Hayden Wesneski needs to start games. Like, it's sacrifice of your bullpen depth. Like, I think you just have to. Like, you can't roll Hendricks out there. And like, Wesneski has very similar stuff to him. Like, his velo's better, of course, because he's 10 years younger. But you would do yourself a great service by investing in your starting pitching to save your bullpen. And you could have Hendricks play in the bullpen. And if he doesn't want to do that, you DFA him. Like,
Craig Counsell actually announced this morning, that they were moving Kyle Hendricks to the bullpen. So I assume that Wesneski will take that last starter spot.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter this morning. Or it was either yesterday or today, but Counsell said that they're pushing him to the bullpen.
That's good. We've been saying that for weeks now.
Some guys that are ice cold. Nolan Jones. I'm a Nolan Jones truther. This one pains me. He's hitting a $170 with 1 bomb. I thought this was the year. Like he sucks right now. Like he is really, really bad. And he was really good last year. And I thought he was going to take the next step and have a really good year all the way through. And obviously there's still time to turn it around, but he looks lost at the plate. Like he's at the point where they're not giving him even up. Like he's getting less at bats for Jordan Beck, who they just called up, but he sucks right now.
Well, is he in AAA? He's coming back this week, right?
Yeah, he should be anyways. Ian Happ, he's on my fantasy team, so I just had to call this out because I just haven't been playing him, and I do. I'm in a dynasty league.
I never looked at that, but
he's 208, 323, 302, 2 bombs. But he's supposed to be like the slug guy, and he's not.
Well, he never was. Like, they gave him all that money because he's like a good outfielder. He's probably a top 5, top 10 left fielder in baseball. But ever since they gave him that big contract last summer or the summer before, he hasn't been hitting well. So that might be a bad contract we gave him.
He's been a little frustrating.
And I mean, here's a question: how much harder do you think it is for a guy who's a switch hitter to bust out of a slump?
A lot, I would think. I mean, I don't know, but I would think. I mean.
You're not seeing it well on one side. Like, who's to say you're going to see it well on the other side? I don't know. But that whole lineup's been struggling a little bit outside of Horner and Morel.
Yeah, who Nico's been hurt though, hasn't he? He's been on the shelf.
Yeah, he's been on and off, but like he has average up to over 300, and he's like a Charlie Hustle. So like,
that's a team right now. You got to cut some slack because like Dansby's out, Nico's out. Yeah, they're all banged up, and The pitching is still held up though. Like the rotate, like
Well,
Javier Assad is
starting.
awesome. Yeah, the
The
starting
ass
pitching.
man. The ass man. Yeah, he's um Justin Steele is on my shit list, but I forget Justin. Bad outing. It's okay. He's a lot like Shota. I mean, just similar arsenal, similar
Yeah.
pitching style. I think his strikeout stuff's not as good though. But Shota's been awesome. Yeah, the starting pitching's been really good, but I think their best reliever is Julian Merriweather. He's been out like the whole season. Their bullpen needs some help, like now.
Yeah.
And like Kyle Hendricks is a guy who could fill in that long relief role. He could give you 3 good innings.
Yeah, we were just talking about him. He's 0-4 with a 10.57 ERA.
He's earned every run on that ERA too.
Yeah. I think Father Time is coming. I think it's getting close to he's got to hang it up. I don't think they'll DFA him. He's too much of like clubhouse guy.
No,
Been
I
around the
think they would.
organization for so long.
I think they would just like let him struggle for a year until like. I think they would just let him struggle until he decided it was time. Like I mean,
He's gonna be like the Madison Bumgarner kind of thing. Like they kind of just let him hang around until he called it quits. But he was putting up like a 7 ERA. Like not good.
I don't think Hendricks was as bad as Bumgarner last year. This year he is surpassed.
No, last year Hendricks was like serviceable.
Yeah, it was super hot and cold. Like one start he'd get blown up, and then the next start he'd be really good, and then he'd be okay, then really good, then bad. But it's been like every outing this year has been just bad. And it's not like, oh, you just don't have this good stuff that day and you give up like a run here, a run there, and all of a sudden you give up 6. Like he has 2 shutout innings and then he gets shelled the second time through. That screams reliever. So like it's time. So I'm glad Craig did that.
Pushing to our final segment. City Connect jerseys. We have been talking about this. It's been the big talk of baseball Twitter recently. And I'm going to start this off with one thing, and I have no idea if this is correct or not. My understanding of what the City Connects were supposed to be was like the MLB equivalent of the NFL Color Rush. And that's kind of how they started. Like the Brewers came out, which I love. They have the light blue, the Brew Crew ones. I love those are my favorite ones. The Rockies came out with the license plate ones. I think the license plate ones are fantastic.
I like those too.
Not a big green pants guy, but I think the jerseys are sweet.
Yes.
I know Red Sox fans are pretty against Boston's, the blue and yellow. I like them personally, but it's following that theme. And like the Padres, like ugly, super ugly, but like they're doing the color rush thing. Yeah, that's what I thought they were supposed to be.
Right.
This year, the new ones come out, and it's just a lack of effort. They're all like black and just boring. Well, I don't like any of the new ones.
I've got a list of the ones that they pulled up. Like, I don't know if some of these debuted last year. I think some of them did. I think it's just like an ESPN article going through the entire list of like every team has released one. Like, I like the Cardinals one, like with the Lou on it. That's kind of cool, but like it's so
that dropped
vanilla.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it's basically what they wear now, except it's red. It's like their alternate. It's just kind of like vanilla. I didn't think that was entirely creative. But like Cleveland, same thing, vanilla. I don't like Detroit's. Detroit's looks tacky, even though the Motor City thing's kind of cool, but like tacky. The Rays, we did both agree we like the Rays one.
Yeah, I do like the Rays one, I gotta say.
The Mets one, no. The Philly one, no.
The Phillies one is disgusting. I actually think the hat is decent, but I think the uniform is so bad. I like the hat. I will say that. They got the hat right.
Here's my thing. I don't mind like a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a flamboyant or flashy, bright flashy uniform. But have them like relative to your colors of your team, right? Like, why are the Phillies wearing like sky and navy blue? Like, why are the Phillies like associated with every color on the rainbow? You know what I mean? Like the Fanatics green and like they wear green arm sleeves. It's like, okay, fine, but like, why do they have baby blue? It looks weird to me. Like, I know they used to wear the powder blues, but like everybody did. Like that's not.
Yeah.
like 2023s. We don't have to go into those, but yeah, all of these new ones are kind of ass, except the Rays.
All of them, except for the Rays. I like the Rays.
I don't mind the Guardians one either, but like it's just so vanilla.
Like I don't think the Guardians one is bad. I think Detroit's is worse than Cleveland's. I thought Cleveland's was okay, but it's just boring. Like it's just there's nothing really to
Well,
it.
it's like totally like their current uniform. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well
Like
that's what the Cardinals did. It's literally their red uniform, but instead of saying Cardinals on it, it says the Lou.
yeah, which I like. I don't hate those because it's like, oh, you're so used to seeing those, so
Because
they
it's the
don't
same
suck.
jersey.
Yeah, they don't suck, but it's like there's just no creativity with it.
No. And then the Dodgers got a new one this year, and I
I
think it's
didn't see it.
stupid.
I'm
It's
sure.
white with like a paint splatter and a line going through it for like the Pacific 101.
Mm-hmm.
And then the D on the side looks like the Disney D, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it's literally the Disney D on the sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just combing through some of the ones from last year. I like the Mariners one with the trident. That one's kind
I
of
like the
cool.
Mariners one. I like the Brewers
Rangers,
one.
Rangers one, pass.
I like the Astros one.
The Astros one's cool. I hate the Brewers, but I like the Brewers one. I even like the Padres one. It's just like I feel like that would
It's
have
too
been good
much.
for Marlins. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been good for
Brewers.
Miami.
The Angels one is like retro. I guess it's kind
I
of
like the
cool, but
Angels one a lot, just
Philly.
because it's like the retro one.
Yeah, but it's kind of plain. I don't want to say vanilla because like that's literally the color. It's like a beige vanilla color. The Rockies one you said that was super cool. Even like the Royals one, it's super simple. It doesn't do a ton, but like it's cool. It's different. Astros one's cool. Like the Nats one with the flower, I think that one's dumb. The Dodgers, their first one, no. The Giants, I kind of like that one. I like the D-backs one. Don't like the Cubs one. I don't like the White Sox one. Don't really like the Marlins one. Don't like the Red Sox one. I don't know. They're super hit or miss, I guess is how I would say it. Like they're either
Yeah,
really cool or they're horrible. Like whoever approved that should be fired.
and most of them are bad. If you want me to be honest, there's like probably 10 that I like. Yeah, if that. Yeah.
And they're not even like, whoa, this is a cool jersey. I would get it. It's like there's 8 or 10 that I like, aka I don't hate them.
Yeah. Yeah, I just and I don't know who like the Yankees will never get one. Like I think they're too
Traditional, yeah.
yeah, there's no way. But I think most of the teams have them at this point.
Yankees, City Connect, just no pinstripes.
It's just yeah, it's just gonna be like the super old one that they used to wear. Like it's just gonna be a wool jersey that they dig up from the 20s, and they're gonna be like, "Yep, City Connect."
Babe Ruth's pants. Got the old stirrups like we wore in college.
Well, that's our show, folks. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at Overdue Sports, overduesports.com. Like, subscribe. We'll have another one of these coming soon. And we are out of here.